About 2 minutes to go. No one saw that.
The channel.
Yeah, it's all working. All right, let's flick over. In 3, 2, 1. Go.
Yeah, let's go. Welcome everybody. Just restart this timer. Cool. All right. Welcome to this morning's class for handstands. A little bit cold. That's okay. Feeling good. Yeah, I'm just thinking about what I'm going to be talking about while we warm up. So, like with most of my warm-ups, I like to warm up the lower body, just because everyone could probably use more hip and ankle mobility. So we're going to warm up with 20 air squats and 20 Russian squats. I'm going to try and go as low as... Oh, I just pulled my mic out. We're going to go as low as we can in the air squats. So if you need something to help you get lower, either a chair or a stool so that you can get all the way down. Please find something so that you can really get the most out of it. So we're going to do 20 air squats. Sorry, cover my shins. There's a Perth handstand guru, Mr. Harry Williams, and he says a man should never show his anything below his knees. I'm really not sure where it comes from as well. He's adamant about it. He wears pants in summer.
Who's this?
Harry Williams.
Right.
He's a very, very talented handstander. But yeah, I've never seen him wear shorts. Maybe once, actually. And when he wore shorts, he wore really long socks. That was pretty funny.
Way to go.
Good morning. If you're on the stream, type a message, say hi, let me know who's here. I hope, Jacinta, you got up on time for the class. I'm not sure what number we're at, so let's do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. So now we're going to do Russian squats. So that's where we're going to find an anchor point, either on our feet or our ankles or our shins or our calves. We go all the way down to our lowest point, stretch and try to straighten our legs. Now, we had a guest coach come into and do a live stream. I can't remember from where. His name's Mikkel or Mike or Mick, and he did his Russian squats. He might have had a different name for it, but he hooked his hands around the back of his ankles. So certainly if you are flexible enough to pull yourself down in these 20 reps. Yeah,
you know
go.
what he calls them?
What?
Squats.
He just calls them squats. Well, what's the difference between the first one and the second one? You need some kind of delineation and classifier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a funny thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Brazil nuts. Brazil, they just call them nuts.
Well, you know, chai means tea.
Yeah.
TT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right?
Or it's like saying
Sahara.
ATM machine.
Yeah, Sahara means desert. So the Sahara Desert is
Desert.
colonization, man. It's like when I was in China and I started to learn.
Hey, good morning, Heather. Just watching for now, still recovering from Tuesday's class with Matt. Oh.
Recovering from Tuesday. Oh, surely you can do a little bit with us, Heather.
Maybe just the warm-up.
Just the warm. Just do the warm. Actually, do the wrist drills and the mobility drills, and then you'll feel fine. I'm not sure how many reps that was. Let's count that as 20. Cool. So before I let you out of the leg work, I love that I might trick people coming into a handstand class and we start off with a bunch of leg stuff. We're going to go down into our bottom position, our squat position here. Now, if you need to be on your toes for this, that's fine. What that means is that you don't yet have what's called dorsiflexion and the hip mobility, but at this point, I just need a band and a stick for today. We'll get there eventually, but we want to go down as low as we can. And then from this position, I'm going to drive my knees out to the side. What I want to avoid is trying to twerk my bum. Not in the twerking class this morning. I do that at a different time. But we're going to drive our knees out to the side. If you need something to help you stay in that bottom position, same with the squat, feel free to hold on to something and drive your knees out to the side, maybe about 30 or 40 times.
Heather goes, I'll do it later. I've only just had coffee, still waking up.
Later is the enemy of progress.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm just building on whatever Steph said. Comparison is the thief of joy. Procrastination is the enemy of progress.
I need to write that down. Comparison is the thief of joy.
It's a tricky one, man, because we're constantly doing it. And the reason that we're humans, that we look to see our own development, but we need like a reference point. Because if you're always alone, and especially in times of quarantine and isolation, how do we know what we're doing? That's why mixed cultures are very useful, because you get all these different inputs.
That's a good point as well.
So let's say that we've done our hip openers, done 30 to 40 of those. We're going to do hip hinges. It's very important today that we try and get a lot out of our hip fold. So do try and put a lot of emphasis into this warm-up session, because it'll come back later. We'll do some more stuff with it, but I do want you to focus on it now so it becomes a little bit easier. So legs out to the side. You can have external rotation. I would probably suggest having your feet, I like to call it on train tracks, or facing sort of 12 o'clock north. But for some people, they might find that they start with a slight external rotation. But hopefully over time, we're able to keep our feet straight, press the knife edge of our feet into the floor, fold forward without pushing our bum back, and then we're going to hinge at the waist. Hold on to our elbows, or if you can hold on to the floor, you can pull yourself down a little bit. And we're going to breathe out and pulse, probably 30 to 40 times. I'm going to maneuver myself so you can see me side on. There we go. Cool. Oh, what was the little dingling? Matthew. Hello. G'day, Matt. And so here, I want to try and get my body, or sorry, my stomach as far in between my thighs as possible. This doesn't have to be exclusive for a handstand class. Like I usually say, that before the start of the class, if you can sort of do a few exercises that you know are going to help you. So if you've got sort of a hanging apparatus, get some hanging done. If you know that you need to do a bit of skipping to warm up your body, that kind of stuff. Cool, so breathing out every time we fold forward. And really trying to get that stretch through the back of my legs. I'm pushing the knife edge of my foot outward, and I'm keeping my legs straight. And I'm almost trying to squeeze my bum to force my stomach forward, and then that allows me to get my hands back. I'm going to raise up, nice and carefully, and then from this position, I'll walk my feet in. It's a really good thing to do, this one here. Very good for your hip joints. Latex-free bands. That's true. A lot of people have problems with the latex. Okay, we're going to get onto our first set of material. One of my favorite, inchworms. You're going to do 5 inchworms. So I'll quickly demonstrate an inchworm. So the way that I like to do it, bounce 3 times to your lowest point. Walk your hands out in front. Your shoulders should be hiding your ears. You should be looking between your hands, pressing into the floor, tucking your tailbone, and then you're going to walk your feet into your hands. That's the first exercise. We're going to couple that with 2 sets of wrist drills. The first set of wrist drills are palm raises. So I'm pressing my hand underneath my shoulder, through my knuckles into the floor, and then coming up, my palms coming up off the ground. So first knuckle raises, or palm raises as they're called. You're going to do that 20 times. You're then going to do the opposite side of your hands, fin push-ups. Hands spread nice and wide over the floor. Your forearms go out to the sides. Your chin or your chest goes to the floor, and you press using the back of your hands. So you're going to do 5 inchworms, and then you're going to do fin push-ups 20 times. Palm raises 20 times, and then fin push-ups 20 times. We're going to do 2 sets of that. So I'm going to start working with that. And we'll get into it. So I'll start with my inchworms, and you guys can watch on the screen, but 5 inchworms, 20 palm raises, 20 fin push-ups. And we're going to do 2 quick rounds of that. All right, let's go. Cool, so I've done my inchworms, now I'm on to my palm raisers. Cool. Hi, Keith. Welcome. All right, and now we're on to our fin push-up, so the back of our hand. We do this 20 times. If you can make a clasping of your hand at all, that's a way to progress this and increase the demand on your forearms. Cool. So I've done one round now, so I'm going to repeat that round. 5 more inchworms, 20 palm raises, 20 fin push-ups. So yeah, it's not yet B1 or B2. We're doing the A1 and 2. So it might confuse people.
It's not on there at the moment.
Oh, it's not? Oh, perfect. Oh, nice one there. Cute. Gary's got it on point. Do we have some mood music? Something lo-fi?
I could put some music.
Ooh,
Well, for us, people won't be able to hear it.
Yeah, that's it. I just think it helps. Not hearing me grunt in complete silence. Lo-fi royalty free.
Don't you love how the gym looks on stream?
Mm-hmm.
Looks so good.
It looks good. Well, I mean, that's probably the 1280 definition, isn't it?
Well, it's only 720 because Facebook is limited.
Ah, right.
But I mean, obviously a good camera, but
yeah,
and that set the temperature to quite cold, so it looks like
very,
kind of
yeah, very good lighting to
more
it.
chilling.
Yeah. Cool.
Sleek. You kind of look sleek.
Sleek, that's it. That's what we want. Oh.
Gampolio?
Gampolio? I guess so. All right,
Sorry, we're butchering your name.
Yeah, I can't read from here. Back to our first knuckle raises or palm raises. Very important. So like I said before the class starts, you're more than welcome to get hanging in, wrist drills in. I definitely advocate it, getting them in, because it takes time to build up the strength in our joints and our fingers, especially when it's colder. Blood moves away from our extremities. So there's no point trying to put on gloves because it's kind of externally heating your limbs. You want to kind of be working them to get them stronger and get the blood in them. Cool, fin push-ups. So pressing using the back of our hand. I'll just do a quick 10 reps. Hopefully you guys have made your way through it. Oh gosh, I can't read those names.
We have a key. Thank you. Oh my god. if you can put it in chat as what do you call it? Or you spell it out.
You spell it
out in text.
Phonetically or something like that.
Yes.
All right, stretching our wrists. So pop our wrists backwards and just rocking from side to side. Hopefully you are able to get through those drills. If you're ever not able to get through all the drills in time, the beauty of the stream is you can go back. Also, the other part is that you're learning this stuff, and maybe there are a few things that you realize you can work on a little bit more. Maybe like certain hip hinging, you can get more out of it, or you know that your wrists are your weakest point, or you need to do more hanging so that you get better elevation in your shoulder, improve your posture. Yeah, you can always, do them at the end of class, but I'm sort of trying to move through so that we keep a reasonable amount of work being done. Cool. So we're going to do 3 exercises. Hopefully you've got either a pipe or if you don't have a pipe, you've got a band. Either way, it'll be reasonably difficult. We're going to do 3 exercises, 2 sets in the same that we just did before. So I'll quickly describe the 3 exercises and then start doing them and working on them. So the first one is we're going to be doing dislocates. Now it's going to be more challenging with the stick. I want it to be more challenging, so that's the reason I'm saying it. If you need to regress, you can go to this band. But ideally, when I'm doing the dislocate up and around outside my body, I don't want my pinky to roll out. So I want to try and keep a firm grip on this. So we're going to be lying on our stomach, like so. You can make your hands as wide. Whoop, move this microphone up a little bit. You can make your hands as wide as they need, but I'd like you to try and keep either your chin or your forehead on the floor as we do it. And I don't want my pinky to roll out and away. I might just quickly move it that way a little bit. Cool, so we've done lots of dislocates before, so you're going to do 10 reps of dislocates lying on your stomach. The second exercise you're going to do in this block is a tri-lat stretch, and we did this in a previous class. This is where we push our fingertips together, and our forearms are going to go against the wall, and we're going to internally rotate our arms as we press into the wall. We're going to hollow out our chest and try to tuck our tailbone against the wall. So I'm going to demonstrate here. Pressing my fingers together, rotating my elbows into the wall, hollowing my chest, and then tucking my tailbone and pressing my chest down. Okay, so you're going to hold that for about 30 seconds. You're more than welcome to do your own counting, that's okay. The last exercise in this 3 block is active pancake folds. So have our legs out to the side. We're going to have our hands up above. We're going to lean forward and come back up. Now you might need a little seat or a cushion to go under your bum in order for you to get taller and lean forward more, and that's fine. So if you've got a pillow handy or a little block to sit under your bum, that's what you're going to be using. So for the pipe, the dislocates for our shoulders, we're going to be doing 8 to 10 reps. For the tri-lat stretch against the wall, about 30 seconds. And then for the active pancake, I want between 6 to 8 reps. And we're going to do 2 sets of that. So I'm going to start my work. And yeah, we can get started. If you have questions, pop them into the box so I can see. But if you're already familiar with them, you may start. If you get more reps done, or you get through 2 sets and I'm not finished yet, do some extra ones, and then we'll progress all together. So I'll start on the floor. Cool, so I've done my 8 to 10 dislocates with the pipe. I'm going to head to the wall for my tri-lat stretch. Forearms against the wall, turning my elbows into the wall, pressing my stomach down. I don't want to duck my head here. I want to look between my elbows and try and squeeze my elbows into the wall and really stretch my lats and my tris here. Dropping my chest, but continually trying to tuck my tailbone or my lumbar spine while dropping my chest down, and that's going to increase the stretch through my lats. Cool. About 30 seconds there. We're going to go into our active pancake. So like I said, if you need a cushion under your bum, more than fine. We've got about 6 to 8 reps here. So hands nice and tall, legs out to the side, fold forward and come back up. Try and elevate your shoulders up to the roof, fall forward. Probably not going to get as far as me, certainly in the morning when it's a bit colder, and this is why I was trying to put emphasis in the hip hinges, because we're going to be playing with this in a few different ways, including with handstands. And you can keep training while I'm talking to you. But yeah, do try to lean forward, get your tummy down in between your legs. The exact same emphasis that we were doing when we were doing the standing hip hinges. Now we're just doing them laying. 6 to 8 reps here. Cool. Okay, we're going to do one more round of those exercises, starting with the dislocates again. If you were doing the dislocates very easy, every 3 reps, move your hands in closer so it gets more challenging for your shoulder position. Okay? All right. All right, 8 to 10 reps down. Back to our tri-lat stretch. So your forearms against the wall, hollowing your tummy out, trying to get the stretch in our lats and our tris. 30 seconds here, and you can just count in your head. Maybe with every exhale, aim to push a little bit deeper and increase that stretch and that parasympathetic nerve, or that parasympathetic breathing. It's going to help you really try to push forward with your elbows and your shoulders. Try not to duck your head. Try to keep your head level and look through your eyelids to the wall. Cool, coming out of it. Now our pancake, active pancake work. And if you finished your round, please just grab a quick drink, maybe do a few more wrist drills. Cool. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with our first block of handstand work. And so over the last few classes, I've been emphasizing working with lockout with maximum effort, and trying to use that as the intention for our work. Something I had a conversation with is that it's going to be really tough to try and maintain that lockout, but this is a lot about setting the intention, and over time the lockout gets easier. And that's certainly why a couple of other classes we did it with our knees on a box instead of going to the wall. Today we're going to go to the wall, so your intention is to remain in that elevated lockout position for the 30 seconds. It's just a very intense short round, and then we're going to do some more playful and relaxed work. If you find that the 30-second mark is challenging or you start to fatigue over that, no problem. That's okay. It's going to happen. But we're sort of setting that intention there, that it's developing the right position, at least to begin with, and you familiarize yourself with it as well, because that's the most important part, is that we familiarize ourselves with it. So we're going to do a 30-second hold against the wall, maximum effort, and then we're going to do an exercise called straddle hops. So we're going to go to the wall now. Gary's going to be our timekeeper, so he's going to let us go up against the wall. Remember, when you're walking up the wall, try to put your intention in your hands. Okay, it's not sort of like staggering up there. Try and really make it, try to make your steps confident, and that your hand is being placed there with purpose rather than staggering or rushing up. If, as Gary's working down to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 25, 30, come down the wall. If you hear that timer and you know you're at 80 to 90% fatigue, come down, okay? And then just go to a plank until the end of the round, the 30-second hold, because there's no point in becoming so exhausted that we can't complete the other work after it. Cool, so we're going to go into our wall walk up to our chest hold. 30 seconds of our intense lockout. Gary's going to get ready with the timer.
Hi, we're ready to go.
All right, Gary's ready to go. So we're going to try and make sure our hands placement is very confident. And so we'll call it out. 3, 2, 1. Walking up the wall.
Go. All right, 10 seconds to go. And 3, 2, 1.
Wonderful. Awesome. Cool. So just watch me, and I'm going to talk while you have a little rest. So the emphasis today is on building up to a straddle press, but we're also going to play with some work that helps with your handstand entries as well. So these are called straddle hops, and I'll just demonstrate a couple now, and then I'll talk to them after it. So I'm going to put my hands out in front of me. Going to be a little bit wider than my typical handstand position. My handstand position is right under my arms, but feel free to go a little bit wider with this. It'll make it a little bit easier. And if you want, you can slightly rotate your index finger off to the side a little bit. It's just going to help you get this. So I'm going to demonstrate. So I'm in a straddle position, reaching forward, coming up onto my toes, press, and a little hop, and I bring my feet forward. These are called straddle hops, okay? For a lot of you, your straddle hops are going to be maybe a little bit jarring or staggered. That's okay. That's where we start. That's where I started. Everyone starts there. So that's why I'm saying if you're going slightly wider than your shoulders, it's going to help. If you rotate your fingers slightly, it's also going to help. But we don't want to go too wide. If we go too wide, then it makes it very hard for us to push and get our hips taller. And I'll show you the two differences between that. So if I'm super wide like this, it's very hard for me to push hard enough into the floor to get my hips over. So I only want them on a slightly wider. Come up onto my toes. Little press, bunny hop forward. Lean forward. Little bunny hops. All the way down. If you want, you can do your straddle hops from behind your body to your wrists. And that's fine too. You're just going to do about 3 to 6 of those, and then we're going to go back to the wall. So I'll give you a minute to do that, then grab a drink, and then Gary and I will get ready over at the wall for our 30-second hold. Cool. So I've got a timer on my phone down there, so that's all good. Cool. So if you need, I'll do my reps now so you guys can watch as well if you've done yours. Lean forward. And always pressing. Press, press, press. Just 3 to 6, depending on your level. Cool. I forgot my drink bottle, so have a quick drink. All right. Getting ready to head back over to the wall. We're going to do another 30-second hold. So again, the emphasis on elevation, locking out, everything should be squeezing. Cool, getting ready to go up. 3, 2, 1, up the wall.
I'm holding. All right, almost there. And 3, 2, 1.
Cool. Walking down the wall, giving your arms a little rest, and then entering to your 3 to 6 straddle hops. If I was going to demonstrate what it will look and feel like when you're really starting out, probably hands really high like this, lean forward, press, 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 and a little hop like that. And that's okay. That may be where you're starting. And if you want to break them up, your 3 to 6 reps into singles, you can do a rep, have a little rest, shake your hands, and then get ready. But the emphasis here, again, is learning to push. None of the handstand strength acquisition will come from us being lazy in our shoulders. And in the same way, when I talked about the intention in the lockout against the wall, you may fatigue over time, you may drop back over time. Always going to happen. But we're just trying to set up those foundations in your head so that you have an understanding of what you need to be working towards and thinking about. And the reason that I reiterate is because there's at any time between 10 and 20 details in this handstand process that we're all trying to remember, trying to breathe, trying to tuck our tailbone, trying to drive our heels together, trying to elevate, trying to look at the floor, trying to counterbalance with our... So you see how the details keep going and going and going and going. So hopefully reminding us just a little bit here and there might reinforce it for that session, or subconsciously you might digest it for another day and then remember, oh, Corey mentioned that, or my coach mentioned that, I should be making sure I drive my knuckles down, or I should make sure that my hand placement is kind of the same every time so that I repeat the same kick up. It's all these kind of details for it. All right, so doing your 3 to 6 reps, I'll do a couple now. Little hops, press, 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 press. Cool. We'll have a 30-second rest, and then we're going to get into our last 30-second hold, and then we're going to get into our play rounds. Okay, so do all this, all the strength and the hard stuff to begin with, and then we start to do a little bit more balance mechanics and exploration. Cool. All right, Gary, I'm going to take my mic off so I'm not breathing into it as I do this, because I feel super conscious about it. Yeah, getting ready to call us up. 3, 2, 1. When you get.
Yep, if you want to go up. And we're holding, go. I know how you mean. Similar with gaming. Having the mic and then you breathing.
Oh, yeah,
heavily
totally.
While, yeah. You're doing stuff. I have a pretty decent mic at home, so it's not too bad. Or especially if I stream, it's not too bad. Because I have the filters on it.
Yeah.
And it works really well. Almost there. Yeah, we got a 3, 2, 1. But some people have like a headset mic and it's like super sort of sensitive. And
yeah.
You can just hear them up.
I know. I sort of. Well, I seem to talk a lot in my class, and I know, at least for handstands, it's like. All right, cool. So we've done the 3 rounds. That's awesome. So now we're going to work on our play and the work that we can kind of take a little bit more time with. So this you can go a little bit slower at your own pace. We're going to work with toe exchanges against the wall. Like with everything, I'll demonstrate the exercises for us. We're going to work under a timed amount. I have a set number of reps, but if you don't complete the reps, you can come back to it after the class, or you can, if you feel like that was very challenging, doing 20 minutes of work, you can be happy with that as well. So I'll demonstrate toe exchanges. This is a chest-facing wall drill. We're going to walk up the wall and get fairly close to the wall. And then we're going to come away from the wall slightly, and one of our feet is going to, here we can see that, one of our feet is going to be against the wall and away from it, and we're going to try and flow and switch the 2 feet. So I don't know how obvious it was with my fingers, but I'll show you what's going on. Bron, good morning. Welcome. So we're going to walk up the wall. We're going to get fairly close to the wall, maybe a foot away. We're going to have one foot touching the wall, pointing our toes, pressing as hard as we can, tucking our tailbone. So I don't want my tailbone behind me. I want it in front of me. And we're going to try and switch our toes. Toe exchange.
I like that, toe exchange.
Yeah. So there might be a few other names for this one, sort of like toe flutters or things like that. Progressions and regressions for this. So obviously the closer I am to the wall, the distance between the toe exchanges, i.e. the point where neither feet are touching the wall, where they change in the middle. I've got to hold it this way so you can see what my fingers are doing. Yeah. So that little float part, the closer we are to the wall, the smaller that gap is, so the easier it is. So the more that we move away from the wall, i.e. if I'm here, so it's more challenging the further I get away from it. So I'm giving people that there's a beginner sort of range that's maybe, I would say, a hand length a hand length away from the wall. And then you can experiment by increasing that range away from the wall, as you saw before, because that float time between those toe exchanges increases dramatically. This also translates into your kick-ups and into, after you finish your scissor kick-up like this, then you bring your feet together, and that's where you have your handstand. So it's very good. So for this one, and Gary, I'll get you to write up C1 as well on the board for us.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. You're going to do between 30 and 50 toe exchanges. Now you can start off very simply, and I would say break them up maybe into groups of anywhere between 5 and 10. But if you get 10 consecutive reps very easily, make it a little bit more challenging. If you're hitting 5 and it was very challenging to get that slow control between the two, perfect. That's the range that you want to be working at. So I'll quickly demonstrate the different ranges. So if I'm a very beginner in this, and everyone can start here. I'm about a hand length away from the wall. One toe is against the wall, and I slowly try to float and switch them. And just that part there. And you want to do between about 5 to 10 reps. And we're going to work to about 30 or 50 in total, and you can just kind of keep that in your head. After you complete a set, so let's say you do 5 toe exchanges, you're going to come down and you're going to do 3 kick-ups with your hands as close to the wall as possible. You need to do 3 consecutive kick-ups. If you're in the beginner stage when you're not doing kick-ups, that's okay. I just want you to do a little plank, pressing against the wall. So 10-second plank. However, if you have your kick-ups, I want you to land 3 consecutive kick-ups. Consecutive kick-ups mean kick up, hold, come down controlled. Shake my arms, go back up. So if you fail out of those 3 reps to do a kick up and you come down and it's not controlled, you need to restart your 3 again. Okay? Everyone who's watching, you may start your rounds. I'm going to continue talking about these exercises while you're doing it. So if you feel like you might get lost or you might forget something, that's fine. I'm not really here to train, I'm here to coach. So I'll demonstrate, I'll talk about it. Hopefully me talking isn't too distracting for you. Major point to think about is keeping our tailbone tucked, because as soon as we have an anterior tilt in the back of our leg, we're very hard to know where our rear leg is. So really try and keep that hollow dish position, your anterior tuck here. So hopefully you guys are all getting into it. I'll do one round and then come back to it. But we're going to work on this for about another 18 minutes. I'm just sort of watching my phone on the time. So take your time in between the rest. As I said, we're doing the strength work. Now we're doing a bit more of the balance mechanics and exploration. Please remember to breathe during it. A lot of people sort of freeze up because they're thinking so much about their feet. Remember to breathe and tuck your tailbone. Same as if you were doing a hollow body. You wouldn't try to hold your breath for the entirety of the hollow body. Perfect, Jacinta. That is exactly what I want you to do. So you're going to build to a total accumulative flutter amount of between 30 and 50, depending on the time limit. Okay, but I want those toe exchanges to be nice and controlled. Come down, reset a little bit, practice your kick up against the wall, come down, reset a bit, then go back up. Hopefully that's nice and clear. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So yeah, it says up on the break up the sets of that, and anywhere between 5 to 10 is probably pushing it. No worries, Jacinta. 10 is probably pushing it a little bit too far, because 5 is a good range because you can progress it. So I can go very close to the wall and do 5 very quickly, or I can progress by moving further away from the wall and then doing 5 very slowly, but the range increases. So don't think about the number being higher as actually an advantage. Try and stick around that 5 mark is probably where I'd say to be good. So anyway, I'll demonstrate a couple rounds. If you've got questions, pop them up. If you're feeling like you understand it, that's good. Watch the stream if you need a little bit of feedback about what's going on, especially while you're resting. Watch me and see if you can sort of do that secondary passive learning where you're looking at something and digesting information. It's really awkward. The floor here is like uneven.
Yeah, the issue is the floor just kind of cuts where you got the rubber and then you got the carpet, so
Yeah.
it's slightly uneven.
I was like, I want to avoid it, but then like I should practice my kick-ups over here anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, should have put a piece of the something there.
Cool. So, yeah, one of the things that's really helpful with the flutters is you're always somewhat going to be leaning into the wall like this. So it's always going to be sort of your toes are always going to be leaning into the wall, even if they're exchanging like this, right? And really try to think like someone's poked you in the stomach. Okay, that's a really good sort of analogy to think about where your stomach is in relation to your legs. So I can keep my stomach tucked and still move my legs around. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, is to frame our torso from our shoulders pressing into the ground, and then it's our legs, which is the top counterpart of our balance. That's usually where we have a lot of trouble. So I'll go back to my flutter kicks now, if you, toe exchanges, and you can have a look. So those ones I did away from the wall to show you that, You can still progress, but using the wall is very helpful to be patient. That's ideally what we want to be doing, you know. We're still accumulating volume on our hands, being upside down, but we have a secondary focus, which is breaking up these balance mechanics as best we can without just attempting to freestand all the time. Cool, so going back to my kick-ups, yep, try and make these consistent. I don't want anyone doing freestanding kick-ups. I want your kick-ups against the wall so that you're getting used to that more and more. And I want them to be light as well. So I'm going to show you some kick-ups now. They're trying to be as soft as possible, and I'm trying to get my hands as close to the wall as possible as well. Cool, so in the first parts of your practice with handstand, you might have to use all your force to get your legs up to the top, so your heels might hit. Your heels are very strong. I'm sure they can take a little bit of damage, impact, not damage, but do try to keep them as controlled at the top, i.e. your intention is to land at the top softly, because that's ideally what we're trying to do in our kick-ups in the handstand, right? We're trying to reach 12 o'clock or true north as ending that press or that kick-up momentum to sort of land there, and then bang, our hands start to do the balance. Cool, keep working, guys. So we've got about another 6 or 7 minutes left. Okay, let me know how you're going with the toe exchanges, what number you're up to. Breaking them up into sets of 5, giving your arms a little bit of rest in between. Yeah, and then let's just keep going and see how we go. I'm going to scale this set backwards so that you guys can see, if you are watching or if you are resting, that doing it close to the wall is still extremely valuable. It's just, you know, instead of with the further progression away from the wall, where I'm really fighting, in the smaller toe exchange, it's actually a little bit more accurate to the recovery mechanics that I'll be using when I'm in the handstand, because I'm probably only going to be recovering at that very slight angle at the top of my body. Cool. So keep working and keep taking a drink. Keep taking a rest as much as you need. We've got about two or three more minutes. Hopefully you guys are starting to get a little bit of the idea behind it. I think, and something that just happened to me there, you might find that as soon as you go from having your tucked tailbone to dropping, suddenly you fall away from the wall really quickly. And that's sort of why, you know, we practice the hollow body so much. we try to familiarize this tuck position to protect our lower back. Sometimes you won't have that much range, and that's just anatomical or physiological bias. I know a couple of mothers that have birthed and they have a very limited pelvic tuck range. That's okay, but we're still putting our intention into that collective to protect those muscles there. And I know myself, having a bit of a booty, it's quite a bit challenging when you've got a bit more weight in the caboose to try and keep it over that side. I'm not one of these like thin twig handstand gurus. I'm a man who's got a bit of a seat behind him, who likes to squat. So I can empathize, you know, if you feel like that counterbalance there is there. It's tricky. It's where squeezing your butt, tucking in your tummy, it helps a bit. Cool. So keep working on your kick-ups. Your kick-ups can be broken up. You can do one kick-up, come down, shake your arms, kick up again. But I want them to be consecutive. Reason I put consecutive in there is that you have an imperative not to do a sloppy kick-up, because then if you fall over, you have to start again. So psychology. Right? You got to have all these things to trick people into doing it properly.
Mike's on.
Yeah, it's not CrossFit. You don't just do the reps. We want to do good reps. Cool. I'm going to do one more set of my toe exchanges. You guys, if you've accumulated a pretty good amount, and if you feel challenged, you can have a little rest while I do this, and then I'll start talking about the end of the class, your homework, and then if you want to keep doing a little bit more of this work, you can. But I'm giving you like a little bit of a rest period to kind of, just reset, rest, reflect. Again, watching information feedback is really useful. So anyway, I'll shut up. I'll keep. All right, so we're going to wrap it up there. Like I said, I'll give you a bit of a cool down and homework programming. You may return to this if you've still got energy. Sometimes I train, for a couple hours. We've done 20 minutes or so of pretty solid work. But the thing with handstand is after a while, we start to get fatigued, and then you start to lose sort of the right forms and stuff like that. And you can potentially injure yourself as well. So just something to be mindful of. Cool. So your homework today is going to be doing fold-overs, and I'm going to demonstrate the 2 fold-overs that we have. You either have pike fold-overs, which is your legs together, and you can use a small weight, or you can use maybe the edge of a table or a chair to help you go over. But you're going to be doing 30 reps. If you're advanced and your hips feel okay and you've been working on your pancake and your middle splits, then you're going to be doing straddle fold-overs. So I'll demonstrate the first kind. Cool, so this one I've just got a small piece of weight, bring my legs up, over, down to the other side. Now, if you have a small weight, doesn't have to be much, I still want you pressing, elevating your shoulders, trying to eliminate any thoracic flexion. I want you to be nice and flat with your back to the ground, legs coming over. If you struggle with foldovers, the regression that we have for you is hands by your side, legs coming up, hands then come under, support your bum and your back, keep yourself here for a little bit, and then lower down nice and slowly, okay? So you have 30 reps of that. Now, if I'm using the leg of a table or a chair, and I'm doing the straddle position, so again, same thing, my hands are nice and tall, elevated, legs out to the side, roll over, back down nice and slowly. I really want to think about tucking and bringing my thighs into my stomach as early as possible. The difference is me going like that and it becoming somewhat of a dragon flag to me rolling over at my tummy. And you can hear in my voice how it changed when I rolled over that way, how it compressed my stomach. So, your homework for today is to complete 30 of those. You either have the pike regression or you have the advanced for the straddle foldovers. And then you're free to explore freestanding, or if you want, you can do the drill again that we did today, the toe exchanges. You can even have a little play with back to wall instead of chest to wall. However, chest to wall is going to be much more linear or direct in your progression rather than back to wall, because what will tend to happen, people will slump. You'll drop your back. That happens. You can explore it, go for it, but the material needs to be something that is, linear and direct into your progress. Cool. So that's the class for today. Hopefully you've got it. I just want to say a reminder, like I said at the start of the class, there are a lot of details that I'm pointing out that you're gonna slip with. You know, there's at any time there's between 10 to 20, and someone who I care quite a lot about in her training, my girlfriend, she said, "Oh, I can't do this because I keep slumping in my shoulders, so there's no point in me doing it." And the anecdote I'm giving here is that it's going to happen. My first 36-second handstand was in this position, okay? It is going to happen. People are going to hit their PRs terribly, and that's okay, but we don't train in the horrible position. And we can do the same thing about if you're weightlifting or you're doing like a chin-up for the first time. It's going to look really messy. That's okay. But when we're doing the training towards it, we still make it as good as we can, and fatigue will come in. Don't beat yourself up. That was something that I saw, and I hated seeing it in people, because I've been working at this as a sort of secondary focus, not a primary focus, but a secondary focus, but about almost 4 years now, and I'm still fine-tuning. But you know, it comes with accommodations to, maybe I didn't sleep well that day, or maybe I, hurt my shoulder in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or, I slept wrong. So you've got to make accommodations. Anyway, that's your homework. You may go back to the material. You may play around with freestanding now. Gary, do you have anything to add?
No. Well, happy Friday.
That's right. So we're returning to a bit of normalcy, because I've started seeing like children being out, and I was like, oh yeah, children go to school.
Yeah, I think kids going back to school, and then we've got, I think they're discussing things now. Is it now or soon? And then hopefully we'll know soon if gyms can open or cafes or things like that. So it's
Yeah.
quite fun.
That's cool.
In terms of the actual stream, again, we do have the Patreon. If anyone can support us on there, I'll
That's
just put
it.
it in the link in the chat.
People, if you're still working on some of the material and you've still got energy today, take a little video, tag us in it, the Bodyweight Gym. Thanks, Heather. Yeah, it's hard to do, strength, skill-based stuff like handstands first thing in the morning. So yeah, if you know that it's something that you like doing, you can come back. You can repeat this in a couple of days as well. Come back to the stream,
Yeah, exactly. That's
yeah.
the benefit of it. It's always going to be there. So yeah, you can just rewatch it.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
That's it. All right, guys. Yeah, share, like, promote us so that we can survive through this. And thanks for joining in today.
Yeah, if you can't support on Patreon, if you can like it, share, stream, things like that, that helps out a lot as well. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Have a great day.
Cool. With that.
Hey, thanks Jacinta. Thanks Corey. My arms are stuffed now, haha, in a good way.
Yeah, no, there will be. I mean, my arms are stuffed.
Oh yeah, he's looking at the chain that Maisie did. So yeah, that's what I thought. It was good. Just something that they do in the old circus that she said. All right, catch you guys later. Thank you everyone. Yeah, have a great day.